Hey guys, what's up? It's Dragoon here, and welcome to the October 2015 Elemental Hero deck profile. Now before I get into the deck itself, let me first give you guys a bit of an explanation and a bit of an understanding as to what's been going on with me, and thus what has been going on with the channel. As you can see, it's been a while since I've posted any sort of consistent uploaded content. I uploaded the Naruto movie unboxing about a week or so ago. And then before that, it gets a little patchy. And the reasoning behind all of that is essentially because I have been extremely busy with work. I work a full-time job as of right now, and I'm still looking for another one. Not necessarily one to add on to full-time, because that'd be kind of crazy, but I'm looking for something to replace my current job because I don't enjoy it as much as I should. And there's just other opportunities out there that I'm trying to work toward. And unfortunately, until that gets resolved, it's going to affect the amount of time I have to upload videos on the channel. My current job, I work nights all the time, so recording it's just abysmal because the lighting is terrible and all sorts of other conditions. I work really long hours. It's just been really hectic as far as things go in life. And I actually have barely had any time to play Yu-Gi-Oh! At least to the degree that I would like to. So keep in mind that some of these card choices may or may not reflect some of the more current decks, like Cosmo. I haven't even played against them with this deck. Yeah, actually, no, I take that back. I played against them one time, and I won with this exact build. So if that's any consolation to you, let's go ahead and get into it. So starting things off, we have triple Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. She's the most important monster in the deck, one of the most important cards in general in the deck. I still want us to get Stratos back one of these days, but until then, she'll do the job. And then we have two Elemental Hero Bubbleman, just extra special summons to make Xyz combos, because Xyz summons are incredibly important in the deck. You need to be able to Xyz as much as possible because your fusions can really only take you so far. It's kind of sad when you think about it. That's where heroes are right now. And the last hero monster you have is the one Alias. Now, you can choose to play without Alias. I don't like to. I know some people do. Some people don't feel like he's necessary. They'd rather play Blazeman. And believe me, I mean, if you guys have watched my other Yu-Gi-Oh! Hero profiles, I did play Blazeman, and I've opted to take him out. Alias is just really good for beating down your opponent. It's really good when you have Veni's Emptiness up, believe it or not. It can't be hit by Fiendish Chain, and it's nice to have as a one-of. You can recur it back with other cards, but I'll get to, but as a one-of, I think Alias is nice. Plus, he gives you an out to Clayford Towers through a Mask Change, so that's all the heroes. Put them up here. And the last of the monsters really is just two Goblinberg and two Summoner Monk. The monster count is incredibly low, which I don't think should come to any surprise to those of you who play heroes and those of you who've been keeping up on my channel, because I keep the monster count pretty low in the deck. I've tried all sorts of variations between these cards, and this is the one that as of right now I've found to work most efficiently. As you guys have seen, I've tried just the Goblinbergs, I've tried just Summoner Monks, I've tried multiple copies of each, and I've basically come down to the fact that I think two of each is working the best as of right now. Summoner Monk lets you ditch really unnecessary spell cards that you unfortunately probably may or may not draw later game, but basically you want to open Darklaw every single game as consistently as possible. It's really the only card that keeps the deck relevant. Darklaw is just too powerful, and it's kind of like if you're playing Evil Swarm, you want to open Ophion every single game. If you're playing this version of Heroes, you want to open Darklaw every single game, and I found that this is the most opportune way to do it. If Mist is in the deck, you have Monk. If Mist is in your hand, you have Goblinberg. So that is what I found to work as far as the monsters go. Let's move on to the spells. Put these here. So as I said with Summoner Monk, getting rid of spells you don't need, and also the same concept holds true, like I mentioned, for opening Darklaw every single game. You play this card. If you draw it and you have Summoner Monk and you don't want it, it's the easiest ditch ever. You just get rid of it. If you draw it and you want it, you give your opponent 1,000, and it increases the odds of opening Darklaw. Believe it or not, it is... I can't tell you how many times when I have been testing this deck in the past that this did give me the last piece I needed for Darklaw. It gave me the Mask Change when I already drew the Shadow Mist. It gave me the Goblinberg, gave me the Reinforcements, gave me the Summoner Monk, whatever. This card helps you open Darklaw. I think it is a necessity. If you don't want to play it, that's fine. It's completely understandable. Its main significance is the fact that it's a filler card that works wonders, but I can totally see why some people want to play other cards than this, but I highly recommend it. So, and then going along with the same sort of idea, we play triple Reinforcements of the Army. This is really obvious. It gets you to Goblinberg, is most importantly, for the most part, but it also gets you your Bubbleman, your Shadow Mist, your whatever you need it to be. Reinforcements is going to get it for you. Next up, we have 3 A Hero Lives, a card that I really didn't think I'd like playing in 3s much at all. A Hero Lives, it takes away so much of your life points. It's insane, but it is a necessary evil, in my opinion. I would really like to just play 2, but you just can't. With the deck really needing to open Darklaw, you need 3 of this. Plus, it lets you go for OTKs a lot more consistently, just getting more and more monsters on board, which I will talk about when we get to the extra deck. Next up, we have 3 copies of Mask Change. I really don't think I need to explain that. And the 1 copy of Mask Charge. I cut this from 2 to 1. I mean, of course, the last hero deck profile was a while ago, but cut this from 2 to 1. 2, it's a little inconsistent at 2, but a 2 is still really good because it's kind of like, it's unfortunate because you want to draw this card because it's always a +1 every time you resolve it. But at the same time, you don't want to draw it too early game, and so I cut it down to 1. I also needed to make a little bit of room, so 1 copy of this had to go. I still would always play at least 1 of this, I think. It's such a good card. Gives you access to just more of your fusions, because only having the 3 Mask Change, believe it or not, you can go through those so quickly, and once you do, man, you can almost lose the game, which is why I think this card is really important. But also, it just stresses the fact that you don't want the games to last too long in this deck. So next up, it's super standard. You have the double space and 2 Forbidden Lance. Just standard spell and trap protection. I always cite in a 3rd Space Typhoon against Pendulum decks, but I thought this was one of the most consistent ways to play. You can definitely play 3. There's room you can squeeze in 3. You could even potentially just take one of these out if you don't feel like it helps you as much. But this is good for keeping Darklaw on the field. It gives him an extra 800 to work with if you have to use it in that way. So that's what I did like about having the Forbidden Lance. And the last of the spells are just simple one-ofs. You have 1 Instant Fusion, which I think will be obvious at this point, 1 Raigeki, and 1 Book of Moon. So all of these cards are super good, and I think you should play them. Also, playing Instant Fusion makes playing the 3 Hero Lives also a little more stressful. Your life points just go away so quickly in this deck. It's kind of crazy how fast you can lose them. So onto the traps. I don't think I really need to spend a whole lot of time on the traps at all. They're really, really simple. They've always been simple. I've always kept them simple. So you have basic one-ofs, your essentials, the vanities, bottomless trap hole, compulsory, and torrential tribute. I just think these are really obvious. You should be playing those in my opinion. 2 Fiendish Chain. I opted to play the Fiendish over Breakthrough Skill over Effect Veiler, mostly because if your opponent has a big monster, you don't want him killing Darklaw. You want to keep that away. So, yeah. 2 Mirror Force. Similar idea. I'd probably play Storming Mirror Force if I had it. I've never tested it yet, so I can't really say that's 100% certain, but I would definitely at least try it. So if you guys have Storming Mirror Force, give that a shot. This is still good. You can play Dimensional Prison too if you like. I like the mass removal that Mirror Force does offer, because in certain circumstances, if you just clear the board, like if you know you're playing a Pendulum deck and you know, okay, they might get it back, the deck also does have the ability to just OTK So as long as the board is clear for a turn, sometimes you can win. And the last two trap cards are Call of the Haunted, and I've already explained Call of the Haunted numerous times. It's just really good for working with Shadow Mist and stuff. I don't play Oasis of Dragon Souls because I don't like it being the worm type. I know this card staying on the field can be kind of annoying, but if it's a worm type, you can't make certain Xyzs, and I didn't want to let that get in the way of me winning a game. And I only like two of this because I hate opening with it. Like maybe opening one, if you have to open essentially Darklaw for this to be relevant, and so it's a card you want to draw a little bit later. I don't like to open with it for the most part though. So that is all the trap cards. Let's move on to the extra deck. Extra deck is important. It houses all of your biggest plays. It's simple in the fact, though, that you play a lot of Xyzs and a lot of fusions. The Xyzs are really come down to player preference, and to some degree I think the fusions do too, but definitely the Xyzs do. So if there are certain Xyzs in here you don't like, just swap them out for the stuff you do like. It works out just fine. So starting things off, you have the most important, the triple Darklaw. I don't need to explain him. You need him. You need to open him every game. So it's really good. You have the one Anki. I have made so many amazing plays with this guy. You go Mist into Anki with Mask Change. You have Anki ram over a monster. He adds a Mask Change. He's still in the battle phase. Mask Change out Anki into Darklaw. So now you have your stun board put up, and you can get another attack, potentially leading to an OTK or whatever else it may need to be. If you already have the Mask Change, when you Mist into Anki, Mist can grab you a Bubble Man. You make so many cool plays, and it works really well. Keep in mind that Anki does need to send the monster to the graveyard, so if you have both of these out, you're not going to get his effect, unfortunately, but he does need to send to the graveyard, so under macro he's not as useful as he'd like to be, but he's really good. And then we have the one copy of Acid. I'd love to play two if I had the room for it. This card is amazing, as I'm sure tons of you guys know. It's heavy, or not heavy, it's Harpy's Feather Duster, and why would you not want that? It's easily one of my favorite cards in the deck. I just wish I could play more of it. And you could argue that you could take out Koga. Koga is one of your main outs to Qliphort Towers, so I didn't really want to take him out. Plus, I like having, if I open really badly, Alias and Mask Change. If I have that, and I can at least, to some degree, save Alias, make use out of him in the Mask Change, if my opponent were to like Typhoon it or something along those lines, it just gives you a little bit more ability to push, more ability to get over big monsters, and of course just helping OTK. And the last fusion of the extra deck is super obvious in my opinion. It's Elder Entity Norden. I don't use him a whole lot, but I should say I haven't used him a ton since he's become legal in the TCG because I haven't had a ton of time to play. And he looks blue on the video for some reason. He's water though, which is really good for Xyz summoning into like Abyss Dweller, but it's a free Xyz, and you play a deck comprised entirely of level 4 monsters, so why would you not play this? So that's all for the fusions. Let's go to the Xyz. Starting things off, we have Daigusto Emerald. He's really, really important. You need to be able to recur things back, and he can revive Alias with a second effect, but so important to put stuff back like your Shadow Mists, your Bubble Men. You can put like stuff back in the extra deck, and being able to get the plus in drawing a card. It's just really useful in so many different types of game states. 101, obvious. Castel, obvious. Blade Armor Ninja helping you OTK, as well as Gagaga Samurai, because I didn't want to get into the situation in which, hey, I have a useless Summoner Monk on the field, and this also contributes to why I don't play Oasis of Dragon Souls, because I want this guy. This card is good, but this one is better. So, but if you put both of these in the field, you're going to be getting those big OTK pushes. And like I said, this just helps you make use of Summoner Monk, because he kind of just sits there after you've used him to special a mist from the deck. He doesn't do a whole lot. I play one Steel Swarm Roach. This card you could cut if you don't like it. I don't have an Exciton Knight, so let me just say that right now. You could cut this if you want. It is pretty useful, and especially against ritual beasts. I don't know if that deck is extremely relevant after these past couple weeks with the introduction of Cosmo and other archetypes in the most recent sets. But this card is just amazing against that deck. You play this, and once it's on the field, they essentially, like, unless they can ram it over, they can't do anything against you. So it's kind of cool. Just gives you outs to other rogue decks, I think. And Abyss Dweller, obvious. Ragna Zero, obvious. Rounding out the Xyz. So a lot of card choices that can be up to player preference. Especially, like, if you have an Exciton Knight, you should play it. I don't know what card you'd like to cut. Probably Samurai, maybe Roach or Ragna Zero. It's really up to you. Or maybe if you had an Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, that card's pretty good too. There are a lot of really good rank 4s. I almost feel like there are too many good ones, to be honest with you, but that's whatever. I mean, that's great for the decks that can run them, I suppose. But that is the hero deck. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I will be trying to get more decks up in the future, more videos in general. I'm really hoping the job search can end soon for my own sanity, as well as for the channel and for just getting my life the way I'd like it to be. But with that, like I said, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what decks you guys have been playing. Crazy stuff that's been going on for you guys. And with that, I'll catch you guys next time.